Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Take One with me, Silverfilter. And what I'd like to discuss to you for this episode is how to help you out to doing your own DIY album. So, this is a more this is a cheaper alternative to having to come up with a lot of money to shell out for professional printing and professional pressing of your CDs. So I hope that this will help you out. So okay, I'd like to my example of course would be my very first release. Okay, yeah, here. If you can see it, yeah. This is an EP that I released years ago, and if as you can see, it's um it's red, and it's very basic, but it doesn't look like it's it was just a mere printout from your printer or anything. At the very least, I tried to add something to make it look different, or just to make it turn out not so simple. And let's start with the cover. Okay, so here's a cover of the CD. Okay, here. All right. So what I did here was I designed the cover in any what's this? I designed mine back in a photo editor. So you can use your Microsoft Paint or whatever software that you use for graphics. Just design a basic uh, cover. Now, the trick here is to what I did was I didn't want to release a black and white CD cover. I mean, so I decided to look for a color that I wanted. So I went with red, and then I looked for a matching CD case. So of course it's not the shade of red isn't really matched, but the point is just so that it's colored, so that it's not a black and white affair. You'll end up with what, a black CD case and a black and white sheet of paper. So at least in that respect, it's you kind of stepped up a little with your cover. Now, the thing here is I went to the books to the bookstore and I bought some board paper, some thick board paper that was colored red. And this is just a labor of love. Of course, at the end of the day, you'll be the one to be cutting your CD cover. But later on, I also have some suggestions that you might wanna look into. Now, when you design your CD cover, design it in such a way that you look at it uh, with it's better that you already have a set design concept in such a way that you're working with a design that you already know your limitations. Now, with my CD cover, I knew that my limitation was I would only work with black ink because I had to print it out with the printer that only had black ink. And so I had to go for a black ink print against any other color, which I used to is red, as I explained earlier. And what I did was I just designed it, and of course your graphic editor would be in white. Okay, don't put the background color in your software, because it will end up printing out the color also of the background that you used. So make sure that it's just white, and then just use a black print and just make your own design. So it's just my suggestion would be to use some solid color. I mean, and solid design using the black that we have here. So the title of my album is In the Meantime. So what I did was you won't really notice it at first, but of course, if you angle the cover, you'll notice that the dots here spell out in the meantime there. And then given the screen the I mean given the space that I have, so I ended up putting my artist name in front and the titles of the songs on the EP there. And then of course just some notes there at the back. So for anyone who wants to who's wondering on what to put at the back, or so what information to put on your CD, well, you can just put all tracks written, produced, or engineered by whoever. Of course, you and whoever's helping you out. Then maybe you can write down which studio you worked in, or of course put your name. And if you have any vocals, just credit the people who did your vocals. And then if someone else designed the artwork for you, then of course put their artwork by whoever. And then of course you can put a short a thank you list, like personal thank you list, like your family, of course, God, relatives, or whoever's helping you out. Of course, people who are contributing, like people who gave a little of their money to help you out to print your CD or whatever. And then of course, if you want to dedicate this to anyone, like I did, I dedicated it to supporters of Filipino electronic music. So I also wrote that here. And then a copyright in the copyright year. And of course, your email, possibly, or your URL, or your website, or all your social networking sites. You can just put it at the very end here. So that's it. So you print it out and use a 4x75 by 4x75 size per panel. Okay, so you design it in such a way that you have per page just one, because you will print it on a short piece of bond paper. Okay, here. So what I did was I put some light in the full design. I put some light markers here, just to give me a guide when I cut it down. Okay. And then when you open up the panel, there's nothing there, because I didn't want to spend for back-to-back printing, and because it will be hard, and it will be hard to be consistent in cutting, in printing exactly at the same point in the same sheet of paper. So that was a sacrifice that I had to make. So that's why I limited my design in just the front and the back on one side. Okay, so that's it. And then what you can do now, okay, there. So that's the cover. And then what I did was I printed it out in white bond paper, and then I went to a really nice copying center where they had nice photocopying machines. And then instead of just using up all my printer ink, I just had them photocopy everything. And then and then after that you get all the sheets, and then that's when you do the cutting. Now, what I was mentioning earlier, that another thing that you can also consider is, what I did was there was an extra service for them to do the cutting, using those what do you call, paper cutters. So I just had to pay extra, and that's so much work that was passed on to them, instead of me spending sleepless nights cutting each sheet of paper for the cover, because I did 100 copies run with this EP. Okay. Next, of course, I mentioned already, was I bought a set of colored CD cases. So in this case, it's red, and you can bargain. You get it cheaper if you get it by 200s. So at least you have 100 more extra in case you do plan to recopy and make a new batch for your CD. So at least you have extra. Otherwise, you can just go and buy 100 cases, and that's just use that up first if budget is kind of limited, and there's no problem with that. Okay. And lastly, of course, I bought a bunch of white CDRs. Okay. Okay, here. And if you open my CD, it's like this. Okay, there. And then it was a personal touch. The light isn't there. Either I put their little SF for silver filter. And it's really up to you if you wanna do a more elaborate design all over your CD for each one, or you just wanna just put a little something there, or maybe you can also put your thanks to whoever bought your CD. What I did with the cover was um, I wrote that the for people who ask their for an autograph or something, or a dedication for the ones who bought it. I used the inside for that, just so that there's some use for it. Okay, then I just I then burned the master file onto the CD. Then well, for this batch I asked, because I didn't want to wear out my CD burner, so I asked someone who had a CD burner at home to burn it for me. Then I just paid him like a few pesos per CD, and he said yes, because he wasn't doing anything at home anyway, so he wanted to earn a little for the work. And so there, that's how you can make your DIY album here. And for part two, I will talk about another approach very similar to how I did this, but different in more on design than the format or whatever. So I hope you picked up something, and I hope to see you guys release your own. Be confident, and don't be afraid of releasing something, because sometimes people just thinking about it, just thinking about the costs, get so afraid, and they tend just delaying and delaying until one day they get too tired to even release it and just upload it on their site. So if you have it in your heart to do just a basic release of your CD, don't be afraid, and I'm sure it will be a success. So good luck and God bless. Thank you.